right, man. So, I'm gonna try to cover a lot of ground. Talk about some boxing. Talk about what happened this weekend. Talk about a new potential issue with Edgar Berlanga, and we'll talk about uh, you know um, the comments made by Tim Bradley. So I'm gonna speak on that. Plus, it's fight week. I'm, of course, we got Arthur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. going down this coming Saturday. I will be in attendance. I will be covering that fight, so I will be there. I don't know if I want to talk about that so-called tweet that came from Errol Spence, because I don't know if I want to go that direction, because man. But we all know people ain't gonna keep it real if that really came from Errol Spence. We know people gonna cuddle him and baby him anyway. I really hope that all I'm gonna say is I really hope that tweet didn't come from Errol Spence and him supposed to be sour that some of the OGs picked Crawford over him. I just really hope that didn't come from, I hope they post. I really hope that that's from a fake, a fake account, because not a good look whatsoever. But it is what it is. Everybody, it is what it is, and it's just unfortunate that we have this going on in boxing. It really is unfortunate. But like I said, we got an exciting fight coming up. Man, what the fuck? Got an exciting fight coming up this Saturday. Arthur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. Unification bout. 3 belts are on the line. The winner of this fight would be 1 belt away from becoming undisputed. And when I get to New York, I'm gonna have to try to find Bob Arum, because I got a lot of questions to ask him. One in particular, what do we plan to do with Devin Haney in the Kambosos rematch? Now, Bill and Devin Haney talked to, they basically talked to ESPN, about what their goal is. Devin seems like he's ready to, he seems like he's ready to move on. Basically, either go after Tank, go after Tank. They don't believe Ryan Garcia is serious, or Lomachenko, because nobody believes Ryan Garcia. And I like their body language. I like how they're talking, saying we'll have to see, because at the end of the day, Devin, Team Haney them is the A side now. They beat Kambosos. They beat him decisively. It ain't the why do they have to come back there? And like I said, after all they put Bill through, you just can't forget stuff like that. You just can't forget stuff like that. And to me, if Kambosos want a rematch, he got to come fight in the States. And as I said, it makes more financial sense. It makes more financial sense to go to Vegas and have this fight. It'll be easier. It'll be easier on everybody's pockets. It'll be easier on everybody's background check for the most part, because you ain't gonna have to be going through customs and all that kind of stuff to make sure you can even get to the damn country. So it makes more financial sense. It just makes more sense, period, to go to the States, to go back to the States for George Kambosos. I don't care what that contract say. We all know contracts are made to be broken, and that's just fact. I'm just keeping it a buck. That's the problem. A lot of these dudes can't keep it a buck these days because they too busy wanting access to fighters so bad. And like I said before, I'm not posting. I'm not doing no videos about that so-called post that came from Errol Spence, because like I said, I just hope that really didn't come from him, because that just ain't a good look. That ain't a good look at all. That's like saying you gotta. So you basically saying in that tweet, you want everybody to pick you to beat Crawford. So nobody can pick Crawford to win that fight. Sound like some other people. Sound like some other people I know. A lot of these other content creators, like I say, they know who they are. And for that clown that came on my channel talking about, well, why don't you say who they are? I don't say who they are because I don't give nobody free advertisement. I ain't saying nobody's name in no video unless they pay me. I don't give nobody free advertisement. You want me to endorse your channel? Pay me. The only way I'm going to tell somebody to watch another person's content if I really like messing with them. But if it's somebody that I'm kind of on the fence with, I'm not giving nobody no free advertisement. They don't do it. So I definitely ain't finna do it for them. All right, so I don't even want to spend no time talking about that nonsense, because that, like I said before, I'm not even finna speak on that. I'm not about that. I'm a Warriors and some other stuff, and some other stuff. I just got to tell the truth about Edgar Berlanga. I'm sorry, I just don't see nothing special about that kid. And I'm not hating on the dude. I'm not hating, appreciate that. I'm not hating dude, but I think everybody done seen enough of that dude. They just don't believe he's the goods. Now, Xander Zayas, that's a different story. I think Xander Zayas is going to be a very good fighter. But Berlanga, I just don't know about him. And to me, after what I saw Saturday, I don't even think he believed he won that fight. He got the decision, but I don't think he really believed he won that fight. He was getting frustrated in that fight. He was looking, there were periods in the fight where he was looking at the, what you call that, the Jumbotron, looking to see how much time was left in the rounds. Then he was getting frustrated. Then he said he didn't bite the dude. But I seen from like several different angles that it looked like he indeed bit the dude. You know, it just looked like it just looked like he bit him. And he did it because he was frustrated, because the dude was outboxing him. And he tried to fight a disciplined fight, but he didn't. His defense wasn't there. He was getting clipped. He was getting hit with uppercuts. He was getting hit with some occasional body shots. He just, he was just getting tagged. Then he spent too much time backing up. He spent too much time against the ropes, trying to fight off the ropes. And those judges, it's just gonna get to a point where you just gonna have to start, like I keep saying, when you have a decision like that, a controversial decision, and I know they said he won by unanimous decision. Well, it should have been a unanimous decision for the other dude, because I thought he clearly won that fight. Most people that saw that fight thought that he won that fight. And this is what I keep saying. They need to start having these judges do press conference to explain how they came up with their scorecards. I think that should be mandatory. I think every fight, they need to have these judges talk to the press, whether it's the right decision or not, and they need to explain to us, like, how did you come up with your scorecard? What rounds that you thought dude was doing so much damage to where you gave him this round? I think we should all no for real. I think the scorecard should be made available to the media immediately, especially the media that's covering the fight, because we need to start getting to the bottom of this stuff. Like I said before, Edgar Berlanga did not win that fight. He clearly lost that fight. He knew he lost that fight, and that's why he damn near self-destructed in that fight by trying to bite that dude or actually biting that dude. Now, what happens to him? Well, that's up to the New York State Boxing Commission, if they really want to run the investigation. But they probably not going to do nothing, because I'm going to tell you why. One reason is he's not a big enough name. Then another thing is his skin ain't that damn dark. And you already know where I'm going with that. Like I said before, had Floyd Mayweather did that, they would, I mean, people would have been crying bloody murder. You would have had every video up by now talking about, oh, Floyd, this should happen to Floyd. If that had been a boxer with some melanin in him, you would see talking about, oh, this guy should be suspended. God, this should happen. He should be fined. He should never be allowed to box again. But you know, you don't get that from content creators for the most part. You know the ops ain't gonna make videos about this. I know I am. Like I said before, I'm a boxing reporter. I cover boxing. So I have to report on what I saw. He looked like he bit the dude. You can't get mad at somebody for like talking about what they think they saw or what they saw. I didn't saw like 4 different angles, and it looked like he bit the dude on the like he bit him on the shoulders. And that's unfortunate, because a complete display of unsportsmanlike conduct. That's just that was just, you know, and that's why I don't believe that he thought he was winning that fight. If you think you winning a fight, why you have to resort to that? Why is you looking at the jumbotron to see how much time is left in the round if you think you winning the fight? I need somebody to explain that to me. You know why you can't explain it to me? Because, like I said before, just keeping it a buck, dude didn't think he was winning that fight. And then Fat Joe, his post-fight commentary about, he did what he was supposed to do. What? Lose? Because that's what I thought he did. I thought he lost. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck. I thought Josh Taylor lost to Jack Catterall. And, you know, I'm just keeping it 100. And I thought Berlanga lost to that dude. I thought he lost to Angulo. It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal. It's nothing against him. It's just, I thought that he lost the fight. I thought that Berlanga lost that fight. You know? It's just like the Canelo fight. I thought Canelo got thoroughly dominated. That fight wasn't 7 to nothing. You know, like I said, at best Canelo may have won 3 rounds. He didn't win no 5 rounds in that fight. And the same thing with Kambosos. I need for somebody, like I said, 2 judges had Kambosos winning like 4 rounds. What 4 rounds Kambosos won in that fight? And what judge had it had Devin winning 10 rounds to 2? Like I said before, you find me 1 legitimate round that Kambosos won. You can make an argument, a serious argument, that he lost every round. But this is the type of stuff that you got that go alongside with boxing. At the end of the day, they have a guy sometimes that they want to blow up. and he may not be as good as they trying to get us to believe. Like I said, I done seen enough of Berlanga to just know this may be who he is. He's not ready. You can't put him in the ring with David Morrell. You can't put him in the ring. You couldn't put him in the ring with Canelo. You couldn't put him in the ring with, like, for real. You couldn't put him in the ring with David Benavidez. You know what they would do to him? You can't put him in the ring. He couldn't even beat Anthony. He couldn't even beat Anthony Dirrell. He couldn't beat dudes. He would get man, for real, he would get pulverized. And that's just the honest to God truth. There's no knock on him. You just gotta tell the truth. Just like I said, David Morrell, he's not ready for David Benavidez. He's not ready for Caleb Plant. He's not ready for those guys yet. He got a long way to go. Edgar Berlanga, he can't beat none of them dudes. He can't beat none of them dudes. He an easy fight for all the fighters that I just named. I'm talking about he's an easy fight. Caleb Plant would box circles around him. Caleb Plant would humiliate him. David Benavidez would stop him within 3 rounds. David Morrell would probably stop him within 6 rounds. Anthony Dirrell might stop him. So I'm just keeping it a buck. You got to tell the truth about these. You got to tell the truth about these dudes. I know they watch these videos. They'll say, "Hey, you ain't never boxed before in your life." Well, I'll put it to you this way: I cover boxing. I fought in the streets. It's not like I just sat up there. I ain't never been in a fight before. It's not like I ain't never punched nobody before, and it's not like I've never been punched before. So to sit up there and say I don't know nothing about fighting, that's a lie. This is why I get credentialed. This is why PBC sometimes. This is why Top Rank credential me. They want me. A credential is to come in there and critique. You're not gonna always say what these guys want you to say, and that's the problem with a lot of these boxers. They don't want you to tell them the truth, and a lot of times when you critique them, you critiquing them because you want them to get better. But then these dudes, they see you, they get an attitude. Nah, I ain't talking to you, man. You said something mean to me. You said something mean about me. Have you boxers ever thought when I critique you or other people critique you, it's because they want you to become a better fighter? And have you fanboys thought about that also when we critique your favorite fighter? Because we want them to get better. But Berlanga, I don't know about that dude. I done seen this dude fight several times. And I don't know, has he reached his ceiling? Because this may be who he is. And I mean, he got 20 fights in now? This is what happens. This is the gift and curse of when you become a quote unquote knockout artist. Because if you can't get the dude to go down, if you can't put the dude away within 3 to 4 rounds, then it's like you get puzzled. It's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now? That's called boxing. That's why it's called rounds. Because in the grand scheme of things, you really supposed to box how many rounds you schedule to fight. And if you get a stoppage along the way, then that's good for you. And that's the problem. I think he got too comfortable with those knockouts. See, the thing is, when you get a guy that start off, he don't get too many knockouts. He start learning how to win rounds. That's how you become an overall better boxer. And this is why Devin Haney was able to outbox circles around Kambosos, because Devin Haney wasn't accumulating a lot. And for the most part, it's always going to be the brawler, unless he makes a clueless mistake. So that, that's just really how boxing works, and a lot of people don't understand that. Boxing ain't just about just going in there, throwing some haymakers, or trying to land a big shot and get a guy out of there. That worked for only guys that don't have what you call real technical skills. A dude that's a punching bag. And I think, like I said, that's what happened with him, because he needs a lot of, Edgar Berlanga needs a lot of work. A lot of work before you start trying to put him in there with what you would call the big guns. If I was him, I would, like, you know what I'm saying? I would go back to putting lesser competition so he can get confidence back. Because he seems to not like the idea that he can't get a guy out of there. He seems frustrated with trying to box. Where guys like Devin Haney, that's what they do. Shakur Stevenson, that's what they do. They box. Hey, if they get a knockout, so be it. But if they don't, they just gonna beat your ass for, 10, 12 rounds. But yeah, as far as the bite thing go, well, like I said, that's up for the New York Athletic State Commission to review and decide what they're gonna do. But I just don't think nothing's gonna come out of this. I'm just keeping it a buck, because most of us know how this works. So, but anyway, let me move on from that. Let me talk about this thing with Tim Bradley. Okay, so Tim Bradley seemed to be in a little bit of trouble. And I gotta say this, and I know some people don't like Tim Bradley because they say he goes over the top with some of his broadcasts, or some people say it ain't quote unquote urban enough. They think he kind of be Now, apparently they was having a discussion about the fight when they was calling the fight, and they was talking about Angulo, how Angulo kept going to the wrong corner. He was going to an empty corner, and they kept telling him, hey, over here, and he did it like twice. So, Tim Bradley was trying to joke, and, at the end of the day, they want color commentators to be colorful, make people laugh, keep people interested. Because, Howard Cosell, he was just straightforward. I'm sorry, Howard Cosell was just so corporate when he called the fight. He was good, but they want you to be a little bit animated. So Tim Bradley said, I saw a dude, he got knocked out of the ring, and when he got in the ring, he started punching the air and stuff, punching the corner. Nobody was there. So then they went on to start talking about the fight, and then Tim Bradley had got wind of the fact that that particular boxer had passed away. Now, Tim Bradley apologized immediately. Now, some people are going after Tim Bradley, saying he should be reprimanded. I'm like, reprimanded for what? Like, he made a mistake. He did not know that the dude had passed. I'm like, this is what pisses me off. Like, man, the dude made a mistake. He said something he shouldn't have said. He apologized immediately, and that should be the end of it. All this stuff about he should be reprimanded, he should get in trouble, and it possibly be fired, that is just utter crap. That would be weak. That would be the most BS move. That if ESPN did that, that would just be BS. He shouldn't be fired. He made a mistake. I'm not gonna keep, I'm not gonna keep pounding on Tim Bradley for saying something that he had no knowledge of. It's not like he did it on purpose, and then when he found out the dude had passed, it's not like he was like, ha 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 ha. He said, you know what? I apologize to the person's father, his parents, or whatever. I think he said he apologized to the parents and all that, and his family. He said he didn't know. He said it was a mistake, and he said he apologized to anybody he offended. Okay, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. It ain't no reason for him to lose his job. So I'm just keeping it a buck. But yeah, I can't wait to see Bob Arum, because I've definitely got some questions for him. I'm definitely going to ask him, what is it going to take to eventually try to set up a match between either Teofimo and Tank or Shakur Stevenson and Tank. And I should ask Bob Arum, what about Josh Taylor versus Tank at 140? But then again, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, because for the most part, we all know those fights ain't gonna be made. We know those fights can't be made, because there's always an excuse why these fights can't be made. So that's, like I said, it's unfortunate for boxing that we have this stuff going on, but that's probably what you're gonna hear. You're gonna hear every excuse made about, we can't do this fight, this guy fights for this guy, that guy fights for this person, he's managed by this person, he's promoted by that person, he drives he drives a Lexus, the other dude drives a Mercedes-Benz, so it's not compatible to make those type of, that's the type of crap that you hear now. This is what you hear now. You never heard this stuff when Larry Holmes now was fighting. You never heard this stuff when Sugar Ray Leonard now was fighting. For the most part, you did get most of the fights that you wanted to see, but now I say back then in the 80s and 90s, maybe even some parts of the early 2000s, before networks and the internet and all these different entities got involved, for the most part, I say you got 75 to 80% of the fights that you wanted to see. Now, you lucky if you get 30% of the fights you want to see. You clamoring for this fight to happen. Oh man, he fight for this dude. Ah man, he on the other side of the street. Last house is on the left. You know what I'm saying? So it can't happen. I'm just like, man. And then these dudes will say F UFC and all this kind of stuff. Nobody cares about UFC. Well, obviously somebody care about them, because they putting events on every month, and they're selling very well. So somebody care about MMA. But like I said, in boxing, you can't, like I said, you got to twist these dudes' arm to even mention a certain fighter, or get them to acknowledge a certain fighter. And then when you ask them about fighting these dudes, you say, I'd like to fight them, but it's some politics in the way and all this kind of stuff. Like I said before, I believe for the most part, fights can be made. If fighters put their foot down and said, you know what, dude, make the damn fight. Find a way to make the damn fight. But this is what we have now. You have a pissing contest. That's real. This is what you have now. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. It's your boy Town Biz. I'll be back later. Out.